Samuel.
Yes, Lord?
How long will you cry for Saul? I have rejected him as king. Fill your oil and be on your way. I am sending you to Jesse of Bethlehem. I have chosen one of his sons to be king.
But if I go, Saul is going to kill me.
Take one of your little sheep with you and make a sacrifice to me. Invite Jesse to the sacrifice. I will show you what to do, and then I will choose one of his sons that I indicate.
I will, Lord. Goodbye. Hello, Jesse.
Oh, welcome, prophet of God. How can I be of service?
We have a predicament. Saul has not worked out as king, and we need a new king. And that king is going to be one of your sons.
Nice. Wow. Eliab, come and join us.
Hey man, what's up? I'm the biggest unit in Byron Bay, bro.
It's true, he is the best in the biz.
He does look very impressive.
Do not judge on appearance only or bodybuilding. The Lord looks at the heart.
He's not the one. The Lord has told me so.
But he's so tall.
May I please see another son?
Aminadab. Whoa. Check it out.
Hey, what's going on?
This son is not going to be king. That's what I know.
Get out of here.
Surely there's another son. Do you have another son?
Well, there is little David, but I think he's out with the sheep or something at the moment.
Can I see him?
I think I just don't know your name. David, is that you? Hey, Dad, what's going on? Who's this? This is Samuel, the prophet of God. Didn't you know that? You idiot. No.
Well, as much as you don't know me, I know that you're going to be king. And I'm going to anoint you now. God has told me that you will be king. I anoint you. May God be with you.
Oh well, that is the Lord's will.
Let's go to Ramah.
Hey guys, what's going on?
Oh.
Yes.
Hey, Dad sent me with some food for you guys.
Give me some of that cheese.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, Monty.
Nice
Woo, yeah.
cheese.
Food. Woo. I'm
Bit of
calm.
fruit.
Yeah. Fruit.
There you go.
Salt milk.
So what's happening, guys? Why are you hiding back here?
Look at that guy.
What about
Some
it?
guy from Gap. He's nasty. He's gonna kill us all. He wants to duel someone, but no one's dumb enough to duel that guy.
I reckon I can fight him. Why don't I go fight him?
Oh, okay, David.
Why not? Taken on lions before.
Look at yourself.
So you say?
Dude, you're like a twig. You're just a little boy, man. You're gonna get smashed, bro.
I reckon I can fight him.
Alright, go for it.
Right, I'm going to go talk to Saul. That's it. I'm going to leave my stuff here and go talk to Saul.
Don't embarrass us.
Has you written his will yet? Because I really want his TV.
Yeah, we better be in it, hey.
Yeah.
I want his Nike Air Max.
Oh, I want those two though.
Well, no, I just...
Well, I want it.
Clarence, my dear, I am just, I'm so stressed. Bring me a drink, I am parched. Thank you, my darling. Oh, is this soy milk, by the way?
But of course not.
Oh, thank you. I'm lactose intolerant. You know, I can't. It's not good for the digestive system. Clarence, do you have some food for me as well? I'm rather hungry.
Foreign delicacies, Lord.
My dear Clarence, I told you! I can't eat Maltesers, too much sugar anyway. Do you have any fruit?
Very remiss of you, Lord, but no.
Clarence, you're too much, darling. I'll take the banana, just leave it. Thank you. Oh, Clarence, what would I do without you?
Who can tell, my lord?
The life situation has me all sorts of stressed and crazy and tired and crazy. What am I ever going to do?
Well, you are the king, my lord.
Yeah, actually, I'm the king. I'll figure it out. What's up? Oh, who do we have here?
Great King Saul, I'm David. Please, let me go fight Goliath.
Bro, have you looked in the mirror? You're tiny, man. You don't even lift. My grandma has bigger arms than you. My Clarence has bigger arms than you. He could take him in a fight. Goliath, he's on roids, man. He's been on roids since he was 2 years old. He's been killing bears since he was 2 years old. Have you been killing bears since you were 2 years old? I don't know. I'm making assumptions. I'm going to make assumptions. That's how type of guy I am. I'm very narrow-minded. I don't want you to die, okay? Because if you die, I'm going to have to, talk to your dad and oh, my son's dead. I have to comfort him. I don't want to comfort him, okay? I don't like comforting people, okay? It's a waste of my time. Get out of here. Go. Yellow.
King, please let me fight Goliath.
Bro, after everything I just told you, why would I let you do that? Why you wait,
The Lord will be with me. I've fought lions and bears before in the past, protected my flock. Please let me fight Goliath.
Lions, tigers, and bears? Oh, mine! You're exactly what we need! Clarence, open the dressing cabinet. Alright, so we got a helmet. We got a helmet for you, and we got a vest. Alright. Gonna protect that pretty face of yours. No, so tell me, David, are you seeing anyone?
No, I'm not.
Oh, if you happen to survive this thing, I've got a daughter who I think you go very well with, but we can chat about that later. Oh, look at you! Oh, now there's a man who's going to slay a giant. Love it.
I don't think this is going to work. I think this is going to fall straight off. I think I'll just use my own stuff. Fight Goliath.
Yeah, fair enough, man. Your funeral. Enjoy.
Alright, I will.
I don't care how strong you think you are, Goliath. We're here to kill you and all the Philistines. I've got the Lord on my side. Now that you've been defeated, Goliath, I'm going to take your head back to the Israelites to prove that you're dead. An apple a day keeps the Philistines away.
G'day there, Evans Head. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying the new year, if it is the new year, depending on when this airs. I hope you've all had a lovely Christmas. And I hope you've enjoyed our little our skit, our selections of scenes from the life of David, and leading up to from his calling up until his battle with Goliath. I want to take you guys into a particular theme from the life of David and explore that and what it means for you and me. Particularly, one thing you may have noticed throughout all the scenes that we had. Throughout that entire story, at the end of it, you see David overcome Goliath, save the nation of Israel. It's great, it's wonderful. But leading up to that, not one person in this story takes David seriously or thinks anything of him at all, really, except for God. He's the only one. You first notice this with Samuel. He comes to the house of of Jesse, and he sees all these sons come before him and says, "Oh, this one's great. This one must be the one that God has chosen." And then eventually David comes, and he doesn't say that. He just kind of God says, "This is the one. Pick him." You have Jesse, David's father, who didn't even think he was worth enough to bring him in to meet Samuel at first. He left him out with the sheep because he thought, surely Samuel's not going to pick this shepherd boy. You see it with David's brothers when he comes to bring them some food when they're watching the battle, and David basically says, someone should do something about this giant. I can take him on. And the brothers are like, yeah, okay, David, idiot. I see what you're up about. You're all being prideful, and you can't take this guy. And then you have King Saul. He goes and sees King Saul, and King Saul says, "What? As if you can take on Goliath. He's been fighting since he was young. You're just a shepherd boy. don't be ridiculous. If you do go, you've got to take all this armor to, to so you have any chance of beating him. And you can only imagine what he thought when David said, "No, I'm not going to take that armor. I'll do my own thing." So you see that every character, and then of course there's Goliath. Goliath looks at him and thinks, "Who's this guy coming at me with with sticks and a sling?" And then David prevails. So everybody in the story, everybody except for God, thinks nothing of David, and doesn't take him seriously, and is shocked when he prevails. And the point of this story is not that David is actually so great, and everyone underestimated him and they were wrong to do that, and he is amazing. The point of this is that God is glorified, because God loves to use unexpected people, less than qualified people, less than perfect people, to do what he wants to do. This is a theme that happens throughout the New Testament. You have the Old and New Testament. You have someone like Moses. Moses is chosen to lead the people of Israel. He's the great leader of Israel, but the guy can't talk properly. And so he goes and sees God. God says, "You're going to deliver my people from Israel." And he says, "I don't know about that, God. I can't really talk properly." But we're not sure exactly what it was. I think maybe he had a stutter, but he was really not a good talker. And so I don't know if you guys have ever seen those movies where, Moses will stand up before Pharaoh and go, "Let my people go." That's not how it happened. Actually, God said, "Okay, we'll compensate. I'll send you to Egypt, and your brother Aaron will do all the talking for you. You talk to Aaron, and then Aaron will talk to Pharaoh." And so God very easily could have chosen somebody else to do things in a different way, but he chose Moses. Because as is said in the story, God looks in the story of David, God looks at the heart, not at the external appearance. And so this is something that we see in the New Testament as well. We have in the letter of 1 Corinthians, written by Paul the Apostle, he says about his fellow Christians. This is from verse 26 to 31. Brothers and sisters, think of what you were when you were called. Not many of you were wise by human standards. Not many were influential, not many were of noble birth. But God chose the foolish things of the world to shame the wise. God chose the weak things of the world to shame the strong. God chose the lowly things of this world and the despised things, things that are not, to nullify the things that are, so that no one may boast before him. It's because of him that you are in Christ Jesus, who has become for us wisdom from God, that is our righteousness, holiness, and redemption. Therefore, as it is written, let the one who boasts, boast in the Lord. Now, that's quite wordy. Paul tends to kind of go on these long run-on sentences, these big concepts. So let me unpack this a little bit. Brothers and sisters, think of what you were when you were called. That is, when God drew you to himself, and when you became Christians, when God opened your eyes to who he is, and you became a follower of his, when you were called. Not many of you were wise by human standards. Not many were influential. Not many were of noble birth. So those three categories: influence, wisdom, noble birth. Noble birth isn't something we really think about much in Australia. We don't really care sort of who people's parents are necessarily, but that was a big deal back in that day. It mattered if you were born of royalty or peasants or merchants or whoever. It determined what your life was going to be like, but also people respected you more if you were the son of somebody really impressive. Influence, wisdom, we know what those things are. We know what those things look like today. We know that if someone has relatives who are high up in the government or who run really large corporations, then those people can get things done that ordinary people couldn't get done, and so that person is given a bit of a boost in life. And similarly, wisdom. We all know that person who aced every class they were ever in, or is just super smart, is able to get out of any problem, figure out any issue, and you look at them and think, "Oh man, I wish I was smart like them." But Paul is saying about these Christians, not many of you were influential, not many of you were wise, not many of you were of noble birth. God often doesn't draw those kinds of people to himself. He often draws the people who are low and not much thought of. Back in the first century, when Christianity was first growing, the Greeks and the Romans used to make fun of Christians. They used to think that Christianity is a religion of slaves and peasants and women. They didn't really respect women very much back then. Nobody who's anybody ever becomes a Christian. All the losers become Christians. And so Paul kind of is pointing this out. But then he goes on to say this: God chose the foolish things of the world to shame the wise. God chose the weak things of the world to shame the strong. God chose the lowly things of this world and the despised things and the things that are not, to nullify the things that are, so that no one may boast before him. So he's basically saying God deliberately chose to draw to himself and to save foolish people, weak people, people that no one really thinks anything of, so that in saving them and in delivering his word through them and bringing the gospel into the world and bringing change through these lowly, weak, foolish people, God's the one who's going to get the glory. Because the world will look at people like you and me, who are Christians and who aren't the most gifted, aren't the most amazing, and will think, wow, they could never have done that on their own. God must be with them. God must be amazing. Okay, and then Paul ends his statement with, therefore, as it is written, let the one who boasts boast in the Lord. Let the one who boasts, who exalts in what's been accomplished, boast not in their own abilities, not in their own wisdom, not in their own power, but in the Lord, in God. Another example of this in the Old Testament is the judge Gideon. He was called to rescue his people from invaders. And basically he assembled this army, and God said, your army's too big, make it smaller. And Gideon's like, make it smaller? And he says, yeah, make it smaller. Send all these people, send a whole bunch of them home, make it a really tiny force, so that when you win, it will be clear to everybody that I was the one who accomplished this victory, not you, not your impressive army. And so he does that, and that's how the story pans out. God is given the glory. And that's how God chooses to work, is to choose those who couldn't do it on their own, so that when the victory is accomplished, he's the one who is glorified, he's the one who is praised. And so I want you to think about that in your own life. If you're a Christian, if you're a believer, a follower of Jesus, and you wonder, you feel like you're out of your depth, you feel like there are people far smarter than you who make fun of you for being a Christian, and you wonder if there's something to that, and you feel like you don't have any support or backup from the wise and the influential and the powerful in this world. Understand that that's how God chooses to work, and that he is going to have his victory anyway. And that when you accomplish things that you never expect to accomplish in your own strength, it's because God's with you, and God is the one who's going to be glorified when people are saved that you never thought would be saved, when things are accomplished in your community that you never thought would be accomplished, even though you've been working towards it. Know that God is the one who is empowering, and God is the one who grants the victory, just as he did with David over Goliath. And they got just like David. David eventually was given, he eventually became king. He eventually wrote the biggest book in the Bible, the Psalms. He was exalted so high, but he started so low, with so little to commend him to anybody. But because God chose him and because God was with him, he did great and amazing things for God and for the people of Israel where he lived. So I wanted to encourage you guys about that. If that rings true for you, if you're a Christian and you think, man, if only I was more wise, if only I was more influential, I could accomplish so much more for God. It's just not how it often works for the kingdom of God. God chooses to operate differently. I hope you're encouraged by that. Hope you have a great summer. Thanks for tuning in. All the best.